Okay, so when you guys are drawing the ears right here, do it inside this line. Don't go past. Don't draw ear here. Outside this line, draw it inside the line. This is the pattern. We're gonna get a pattern like this. You kind of want to check, like if you were to fold it like this, if you were to fold it like this, is it gonna meet or not? You know? So these are the fabrics I have. You should leave like a room to sew around. Do it for 2 patterns. A chalk. Hopefully it works. Yeah, it works. Do the same for the other one. leave like 1/2 inch borderline. I don't have interfacing fabric, so I'm just going to use this felt. I'm going to trace and cut out another one. So 1, 2, 3. Honestly, I don't know if you actually need interfacing. I mean, if you want your bag to be more stiff and have more hold, I guess, but for most part, I don't really know if interfacing is necessary. So have the interfacing on the outside, and I'm going to pin everything down, including this paper. I'm going to use this paper as a guideline, so I know where to sew. And it's okay if you sew into the paper, just because you can rip it out later on. So just make sure it's all covered. I'm gonna try and make sure nothing's crinkled underneath here. Pin on either side, so the fabric won't move around as much. Check on the back to see it's not being sprinkled. Maybe I'll just leave this one out. So you're gonna sew all along the edge like this. I'm gonna sew directly, following the paper lines. And you're gonna sew all the way around, except you're gonna leave one of these places not sewn. Don't sew one of these places. Don't sew one of the sides. Since I'm not gonna sew this place right here, I'm gonna start from here. Sew all the way around. I'm gonna stop here. So right here and here. I am gonna sew this little part right here. And this is so that you can flip it over. I am doing the back stitch. A little crinkle here. I finished sewing. Just gonna take all this out and flip it over. So I actually cut like a little slits around here. This is actually a lot more helpful when I flip it over. It's easier to lay down flat. I have this leftover fabric. I'm gonna sew it like this. This would be cute as a bear and a frog. I'm making it a frog. I'm gonna cut it up and I will show you guys how it looks like. When I sew it, I'm just gonna sew it like this. Or I might just sew with the seams visible, like a quilt. So I'm just gonna do a running stitch all around while folding the slits that I cut down. inwards. I am just sewing all throughout the back, all through the back. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna like quilt this or like give a quilt look by sewing across diagonally. Just need to make sure these are actually being sewn in. I'm gonna draw with a pencil the line. And I'll be back after I'm done sewing all the way around. This is how I embroidered this frog's eye. Basically, you don't have to draw a circle. I'm just showing it to you as an example. Draw, the pencil doesn't really work. But basically draw a circle and another smaller circle in the corner so that it looks like this. And with the running stitch, follow it with a running stitch. Stitch the moon shape like this. And then you start filling it in. Ow! Oh, I keep hitting myself. I'm gonna go in through this way. If I want an invisible, I'm gonna pull it through like this. It doesn't matter if it's any clean or messy in this step because we're gonna fill it in. I'm just slightly picking up the stitches so that it doesn't go through all the way. I'm just picking up the fabric, the top fabric. This eye looks so much bigger than this one. I don't know if you can see it. You can kind of see the moon shape, right? And with the same needle and thread, wherever you stop, I'm just gonna start filling it in. I'll be back when I'm done, or halfway through, because I'm standing and sewing right now. I'm gonna touch my back. When you're almost done with the stitch, or when you're almost done with the thread, make one final stitch covering and pull the needle out through in between the fabrics. Try to get it in the middle. And then you're going to tie it off. I tied it off only once though. Okay, I only got to tie it off once because the thread was too short. Just going to pull it out the other way. All the way through. Like this. Pull it all the way through. And now I'm going to cut this. You could just poke in the rest of the hanging thread. I'm just going to fill in the rest of the remaining empty space. And I'll come back for the white part of the eye, the pupil. You basically do the same thing, except with different color. I finished embroidering this eye. Now I'm just gonna tie it off, and then I'm gonna add the white pupil. I'm not sure what this stitch is called, but I'm gonna fold the edges over. Actually, starting from, I'm gonna put the thread, or the needle with the thread on the inside of the fabric. And I'm gonna fold the hem inside like this. and I'm gonna stitch back and forth. Starting with the green one. I'm just gonna try and poke only the inside part of it. Like this. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm gonna pick up a fabric from the inside of the solid green color side. This. And then when I'm on the solid green side, I'm gonna pick up the fabric from the plaid side again, from the inside. I think this is called a ladder stitch. I'm not really sure if this is a ladder stitch, but that is how I'm doing the stitch, trying to make it as invisible as possible. I mean, it makes sense for it to be called ladder stitch, I think. I forgot to add this ribbon, so I'm gonna add it now. Usually you would add this ribbon when you are sewing up one of the sides that are open. So what I'm gonna do is flip it over, and I'm gonna choose a side. I want mine to be on the right side. So I'm gonna flip it over like this. Add this in here. Like this. I'll be sewing this part. Do the same for the other side. Fold it like this. If you made it an inch here and an inch here, you wouldn't have the same problem I would have right now. This is just shorter because I ended up thinking it had to be half an inch for some reason instead of an inch. So I'm gonna have to, so I'm gonna end up with a little gap in between the two spaces. But if you do it correctly in the beginning, you won't have the same problem. And then we're gonna sew like a ladder stitch around here, and add a zipper towards the top. So this is the frog pouch I finished. It looks like this. It doesn't really stand. I did add something in here. My pudding pouch that I made in February. But other than that, I think it will stand a little bit better when there's something heavy in it. You can glue like fabric ends on here if these bother you, but I'm just gonna leave it as it is. I took too long finishing this frog pouch. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like and consider subscribing, and see you next time.